I see Bucky Irving in a very similar light to Bijan Robinson with what he can do in the passing game, says offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, new offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, who came over from Atlanta, a guy I actually like, a guy that got moved on from because a new staff came in and Stefanski, ridiculous move. I like Tommy Reese a little bit. I do. I'm hopeful for Bijan on that front, but Zach Robinson is why Bijan Robinson was phenomenal last year. You know, big reason why he got finally the workload we've been itching for him to get. I love this hiring by the Bucs. I think Zach Robinson understands how to get his playmakers the football. I think he doesn't run foolish, running back by committee concepts that dilute the momentum. This is what we want. Zach Robinson in freaking New England or something, improving Henderson's situation. Thank God he's somewhere. In Tampa Bay, I couldn't think of a better place if you're talking outside of Jahmyr Gibbs gets Petzing. That's great. Get Gibbs going again in 2026. I like that move. Petzing did remarkable things in Arizona on his way out the door. I wish Hendy had more of a belief system around him. But, man, Zach Robinson taking Bucky Irving to the moon. This is a rebound we could use in fantasy football. Bucky is a talented running back. No one's suggesting he's Bijan. No one's suggesting he's as good as Bijan. But at his new cost of entry, which is third, sometimes early fourth round, you're not paying the price tag you paid last year, and you're getting maybe the player we expected and should have got last year. The Bucky Irving Bounce Back Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Buckied. Buckied. Oh, Bucky.
Yeah.
Some people are going to doubt this situation, and Jorge, I'm not trying to call you out, but you put this out there yourself, so we'll address it. Not falling for Bucky hype again this year. This is the part that's beautiful to me. Jorge, put your earmuffs on. This is where you're thinking, Jorge, you're spending first-round draft capital on him. You're not. Jorge, you might even be thinking you're spending second-round draft capital on him. You're not. This is a totally different cost of entry. This is almost a near zero risk proposition. If you're taking him as your third, maybe top of round 4, so a fourth drafted player, you're baking in every bit of risk that exists. This guy will still score touchdowns. He'll still be totally involved, even if we miscalculate this whole thing. But I'm trying to tell you, Jorge, that he couldn't have had a better offensive coordinator handed to him because the man just oversaturated Bijan Robinson, fed Bijan to the moon. And he's literally, I'll read more because it's right in front of your face, but I'll read more. Very similar passing game skill set to Bijan, according to Zach. And there's not a run concept that he can't run. A run concept. Everything he's suggesting to you, Jorge, is that he's an every down back. Now, he doesn't need to take every snap, but Jorge, this guy's telling you that he's using Bijan as his every down back, his workhorse, multi-purpose, receiving monster of a running back that has the intelligence to run every concept on the ground that this guy wants to deploy. Zach Robinson is screaming from the rooftops, Bucky Irving is my guy. He might not be as good as Bijan, but he's his closest version of Bijan that he could get his hands on. And this is partly why he took the job in Tampa, is because he was given weapons that reminded him of the weapons in Atlanta, weapons that could help him succeed. And if you sleep on the ability to get this man at what is now third and fourth round value versus bottom of round 1, top of round 2. I mean, really, it was first round value. You had to pay a different price tag. That is 3 times more expensive. Jorge, you're now able to get him for pennies on the dollar and get maybe the same fantasy football result. Bucky costs you baked in risk. Truly, truly baked in. It's up to you whether you want to chase after it. I'm telling you right now, Bucky is returning to at least the Marsmen.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
We're going to run out of spots quickly.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
We are going to run out of spots pretty quickly because your boy Smitty is all over this. We're continuing to throw these names on screen. Let's move this one right here. I got to change this date. What is it? 2/11. 2/11/26 is 11th for me anyway. And let's run this back for good measure. So Bijan, Bucky and Hall are the first 2 Mars men. Let's go ahead and run this back for good measure. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mars man number 2. Bucky.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
To Mars!
Now, let's real quickly take a gander.
The Jupiter men.
We got the dates on those.
The Saturn men.
Saturn men. What, damn it. JJ we added today.
Saturn.
JJ we added today. When did we add Hampton? Does someone have a recollection of when we added Hampton?
Spaceman.
I got to keep these dates on here because these are some of our victory laps, to have these dates here because some of these things are going to change. Like JJ's is going to change. He's not going to be a steal. Right now he's a steal. He's going 14-15 overall. Soon he's going to climb. When his quarterback situation changes, he's going to climb into the motherfreaking first round, and then everyone's going to be like, he's not a steal. Why is he a Saturn man? And we're going to say, date, pal. Look at the date, pal. I'm pretty sure Hampton, it was probably the day that McDaniel signed his or got brought over and signed his new deal. The day that they announced it, not the official date, because he ended up taking some time and dragging his feet. We came out here and I'm going to go ahead and put this as not when he got hired, Oaktown. It was when they announced he was going to be, and then he was going to potentially dance with some other teams, and then it ended up coming around full circle. Does anybody remember the date that they announced the Miami Mike McDaniel was going to first become Malibu? Then we thought he wasn't. What was that date? I want to put 1/20 for now, and then we'll adjust that if I have that date wrong. But somebody look up when they think that might have happened. It wasn't when he was officially hired. It's when they announced it was going to happen. Then it was going to get backed off of. And then Moonman. Do we have dates on
Moonman?
Fannin? We added yesterday.
Space.
Fannin we added yesterday. Warren we added yesterday too, right?
Space Monsters.
I think we added them both yesterday. So let's fix this one up. 2/10. And then this one is also 2/10. So we should be good. I got to remember to put these. If you guys ever see me add a Moonman or Marsman without a date, please let me know so I can rectify that because these dates are important. All right, let's get back to business. Anybody wants to call on this, including Jorge, you're free to dial in. But you can't convince me this isn't one of the biggest steals in fantasy football, period. First round running back capability. Bucky easily has the capability of being a 1,100 yard rusher. Let's just call it 1050. 1050, 7 touchdowns on the ground. Like you could even call it 6 to 7 touchdowns on the ground. Receiving, Ziggy, how many receptions did Bucky Irving have in 2025? Somebody double check this.
Bucky Irving had 30 receptions in the 2025 season.
Ziggy, how many receptions did Bucky Irving have in the 2024 season? I mean, because he missed some time. Let's just give
Bucky Irving had 47 receptions in the 2024 season.
All right, Ziggy off. Wasn't starting till week 10 his rookie year. And he had still... Ziggy, turn off. So considering he didn't really play a full season either one of those seasons, Ziggy, turn off. Turn off. Son of a... This guy's a menace. I'm going to say 62 receptions for 430 yards and 2 to 3 more touchdowns. This is like his floor. Even if we called this 55 and 400. 55 and 400. This seems like his floor. And let's even throw these yards down to 1,000 even. 1,000, 6 to 7 touchdowns, 55 receptions, 400, 2 to 3. You're talking about a bare minimum of 8 total touchdowns, a bare minimum of 1,400 total yards with 55 receptions. This is his absolute floor. Whereas his ceiling is probably around 1,200 yards. His ceiling's probably 8 to 11 touchdowns. His ceiling's probably 68 receptions for, I don't know, call it 500, maybe 550 receiving. This is ceiling value, so we'll call it 550 receiving. And then, 3 to 4 touchdowns would be his ceiling. This is a top potential 6 to 10 running back, let's call it. Let's be safe. 6 to 10 running back that you're getting in round 3, but potentially the 4th round, and it could be the top of the 4th round. So 3rd round to top of 4th with the baked in value that even if he missed 3 games, you don't think he stays healthy, he earns you that 3rd to 4th round value. Like almost guaranteed. Even if the way Zach Robinson's talking about him, the only thing that can happen is injury, because Zach Robinson's telling you, I'm going to use him all over the field. So what is anybody concerned about? It's only injury. And you don't think that the 3rd to 4th round repercussion of his 2024 season or 2025 season, you don't think this is like enough penalty to throw him into the 3rd and 4th round when Zach Robinson's telling you this is my Bijan Robinson? This is like taking candy from a baby in 3-4 round territory. Anybody that doesn't like this, you're just hating because it burned you. You can't let go of what happened. Wasn't his fault. This dude's electric. We weren't wrong on the talent. We aren't wrong on the situation. Tampa Bay's a really good spot for an RB. They had injuries up and down. Baker being injured all year. The passing game falling apart. This is like taking candy from a baby in round 3-4. One of my favorite selections in the 3rd and 4th round. And you sit here and you say, okay, Genty. Let's take JJ off the board here. Genty in round 1. We'll call this mid-round 1 draft slot. And then in round number 2, let's say we're going to draft a player. A round 2 wide receiver. Let's call it George Pickens. Makes some sense. London. Nico's been falling a lot into the 2nd round, like mid-2nd round, very consistently. You could easily roll out of rounds 1, 2, and 3 with this combination of talent. Genty in round 1, Nico in round 2, and Bucky in round 3. And that's fantastic. That is an unbelievable start. And if you want to go, let's say, double RB after round 1, you could certainly pull off keep Nico right there just to keep the variables the same. And let's walk out with St. Brown. St. Brown and Nico Collins with Bucky Irving as your running back 1, and then you couple him with a Hendy, a Harvey. You could go with a more secure running back if you don't want to go double, risk in your mind. This is an unbelievable slotting of value. This is a safety net, probably a staple. You could look to. The only other running back I like just as much in round 3 is Breece Hall. Breece Hall and Bucky in round 3 is like taking candy from a baby. You're getting potentially top 12 overall value, 1st round value out of Bucky and Breece Hall. both of which are on the boards. We have them both on the Saturn.
The Saturn Men.
Mars.
He's on a shuttle to
They're
Mars.
both on the Mars board. These are the two Mars men. The third round Mars men. These two guys are going to see their value completely change over the course of the next handful of weeks, maybe months. Hopefully we get this for a while. It's not just a small amount of time, but free agency starting, that's going to rectify Hall's ADP quite a bit, unless he stays in New York, which he's still a good value in the third or fourth round because he's getting you that even in New York. But if he gets sent to KC, sky's the limit. And Bucky's value probably only changes as people start to really draft. And I think like months and months of drafting and people seeing the value and, you know, watching teams come out of a draft looking strong at RB, and then it starts to shape maybe the ADP a little bit. But or you hear some other stuff from Zach Robinson, like, and this is relevant to Tampa because I think it was 2018. I forget if it was 2018. Chris Godwin, I believe, I forget who the OC was at the time, or who's the OC or head coach that said it, but they're like, Chris Godwin is going to catch 100 balls. And I had him as one of my biggest breakout wide receivers in the 6th and 7th round. Chris Godwin was going around 6-7, and I was cranking out content on it. And then all of a sudden, his offensive coordinator comes out and says, Chris Godwin will catch 100 balls in 2018 or whatever it was. And he shot up to the third round. Ended up playing like a top 14 overall player too. So he delivered 100% that year. But some comment by, you think this would do it, right? You think this this is about what you wanted to hear. I'm going to use him like Bijan Robinson. He is Bijan Robinson. Like that's awesome. But the moment he comes out with another piece of news in the middle of the free agency, smoke season, because people aren't even paying attention right now. Like right now, we normally have, during the season, we have about 500 to 1,000 live viewers at any one moment during any show we do. Right now, we have 52 people on YouTube on a graveyard stream. And on Rumble, we have, how many people on Rumble? I got Hag and Teflon and 420 and Aldi over on Rumble. We got, 10 to 20 people popping in out of Rumble. People aren't paying attention right now. Now, this could get recycled later and, sent out, and people start paying attention months from now. Or sometimes people just wait until free agency. They take a little bit of a break, then they come steamrolling into the offseason. Once we have something being said on a grand scale, it's over. He's not going in the third round anymore. He's going in the round 2. Bucky's a steal. Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, and I mean, even last year in the games he played, while the yards per carry weren't great because that offensive line was a mess, he still, projected out pretty good. Like he's still, 17 game projection, 1,000 yards, only one rushing touchdown, which was a crazy thing because that's all he had on the season. And then 470 receiving yards with 5 receiving touchdowns. He's a 17-game projection. So, and he's going to do better than that because he's getting more than 3.4 yards to carry like he did last year.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy, man. I mean, the fact that anybody in Jorge, I'm not trying to continue to blast your take. I don't think I've really even seen if Jorge defended himself or anything. You're more than free to call in, and you're more than free to have your own opinion too, especially if you're respectful about it. Like I don't want anybody to think they can't disagree with me on this channel. Like that's not the way I've ever run things. The only reason you ever get chased out of here is when people are disrespectful. Like, don't listen to this idiot, or Smitty, you think you know so much. You said this last year about so and so. Like that's a whole different approch. If you don't like them, you're like, I'm not falling for Bucky again. Like that's fine. We need you. we need you. Because if everybody believes in him, then his value won't stay good. But Jorge, I would love to hear your stance. What is it about Bucky in the third, almost top of round 4, that makes you say, I'm not falling for that one again? It's not the same concept at all. The cost of entry is 3 times cheaper. The upside is probably just as good. I mean, Travis, wouldn't you say reset 2025 out the window, Zach Robinson coming in and saying, I'm going to use Bucky like I used Bijan. Don't you think that the potential ceiling of Bucky and the potential output is as high as we expected it to be last year? I don't understand how anything changes. Like, if we could just hit pause on our excitement level from 2020 going into 2025 and just replace it right here, I think that's acceptable with the way that this guy's proven to be talented and the way Zach Robinson's saying he'll use him. We're getting third round value, but the output might be exactly the same as we expected last season.
Yeah, and I'd even, to add to that, they might draft someone or bring someone else in, smaller name, but Rashad White took a lot of PPR work, and Sean Tucker will not do that. Sean Tucker is not a huge PPR guy. So that's just more passing work to go to Bucky, which is actually even better because you'd rather see him get that balance of receptions and carries as opposed to just leaning on him only in the rushing game.
Yeah. Man, this is gonna be one of many streams on Bucky for this year. One of many. I'm gonna have so many of these streams until the value isn't there anymore, because like I just said to you, I don't understand how anything has changed. Like the excitement we had for Bucky last year is no lesser, or should be no lesser, than the excitement we should have for Bucky this year. It didn't work last year. He got injured. The Bucs were a mess, but there were times where Bucky felt like that same guy. Like especially when he came back, there was a moment there. There was a game. He scored. He looked exactly as elusive as normal. They didn't use him properly. Zach Robinson is perfect for this offense and utilizing Baker, better quarterback than he had in Atlanta. Egbuka, Evans is probably gone. Who knows though? But Egbuka and Godwin and McMillan, and then you have Bucky and Sean Tucker. Like, this is a very similar. It's not as good as Atlanta, but it's very similar, and it's got a better quarterback and as much potential in some respects to if not more, to advance through a playoff or something. Atlanta's, who knows? We got to make sure Penix Jr. is going to be healthy. Will he stay healthy? What happens if he's not? What happens if he gets injured again? Like, Baker's a pretty good quarterback. I know he really lost his way last year. He was injured. He didn't get in his bag. He was kind of a disappointment, but I firmly believe Baker will rebound. I didn't get any sort of sense last year that this was the new Baker Mayfield. It felt like an off year. He was playing injured. Things were falling apart. I truly believe that this is going to be a Buccaneer bounce back, and everything we said about Bucky Irving last year is going to happen this year at third round value, which is league winning. Like, we're going to win so many leagues. This is going to feed families.
Are we? Do you think we'll do a dynasty on this, or?
Yeah, probably. I think we got to.
I'll hold my dynasty take. Yeah,
I think I'll
hold my dynasty take for that. So another thing too is that he's only 23 years old, and he didn't have a huge workload in college either. He had 150, 180 carries, but he wasn't one of these guys getting 250, 300 carries in college. So his legs are as fresh as anybody. He's got no wear and tear on him aside from the injuries he dealt with this year, but this is a young guy with a ton of upside still, and now you're getting him at a discount.
Yeah, and to address this comment, which is, it's appropriate to talk about, Aldi, you're not wrong. Like, I think the topic is a little bit off in terms of reality and what actually happened and what didn't. But because everyone wonders and doesn't know, it's an excellent point to bring up so I can squash it. But Bucky says from Rumble, do we have any clarity on what kind of mental hurdles he was going through during the season? The team was talking about his mental health a lot. The team wasn't just, or really the team, everyone was making up a bunch of bullshit about it. It was constant. And it's similar to Jay Glazer with the he's played his last snap, over in LV, or talking about Max Crosby, and people just wanting to get clicks. And you could say Glazer's not about that. Look, Glazer said what he said, and then Max Crosby came out on Colin Cowherd and said, I haven't talked to anyone, which is basically saying that Jay didn't discuss anything with Max. Max didn't discuss anything with Jay, and Jay saying that he knows that Max has taken his last snap as a Raider. And Max says, I haven't talked to anybody. It sounds like people are talking for me, and I've said what I've said over and over and over. Didn't clarify much after that because he's tired of it. And that just is one of many very, similar things, the way people take Bucky. And if you remember back when the news was breaking that there was some mental health situation that's going to break, and when it breaks, it's going to be crazy. Remember everybody said that, Travis? And I just sat here and shook my head.
Rondé Barber.
And then when Rondé Barber said that there's going to be something that comes out that's really big about his mental health. And I can't talk about it now, but when it comes out, I'm not allowed to talk about it. And everyone's like, what is it? I mean, what did I say? That he's either talking out of turn and ratting on whoever told him some confidential information. So he's either a rat, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's guessing as well as he can to be right and hit on something. So what is it? Are you a rat, or do you actually, are you guessing and trying to get something right? Because it's one of two things. If you're not allowed to talk about it, why are you saying something's coming out? I can't talk about it, but it's going to be really big. So what did I say? Everybody else started pretending they had information. Tampa Bay Buccaneer podcast, Stevie Boy. You got this person over here, because the world's littered with people that don't have journalism degrees, no radio experience, no written experience as a journalist. Nothing, just a bunch of rogue, wild west, just podcasters and social media pages and pretend Mickey Mouse news aggregates for their teams that pretend they're connected. And they came in and said, I know about it. I know something that I can't say right now. Piggybacking off Rondé Barber's comment. Well, I know something, but I can't say anything. You'll soon know. Once you hear about it, you'll know that that's what I knew. What happened? Nothing came out. What happened? The truth of the matter was that Bucky Irving was having an emotional difficulty with not being on the field. And he had never been injured or out that long of time, and he wasn't doing well with it. He was upset. He was like, I've got to get back on the field. He was antsy. He wasn't handling it well. Like, what do I do? How come I can't? When am I getting back? That's his emotional breakdown. That is the thing that Rondé Barber never mentioned anything ever again. All these Mickey Mouse pretend journalists that are out there saying, you just wait till it comes out. When it comes out, you'll know that I knew this. Where are you now? Did they say a single thing? Did we ever hear them circle back and say, I guess I didn't know something? They pretended they never said it. Garbage.
Yeah,
it was nothing.
And it's easy for these outlets, whether you're an unknown or someone big like Jay Glazer, it's easy to float that big thing out there, because if you hit on it, you look like a genius. If you miss, all you have to do is go back and say, oh, well, my unnamed source or my source close to the team had it wrong. Or you just say nothing and wait for the next big thing to come up.
Yeah.
So it's easy to just pull back from it.
And it's the latter, because none of these Mickey Mouse content creators, fake journalism podcast people, and then some of the bigwigs like Rondé Barber pretending to have information, none of these guys readdressed it. They didn't come back and say, hey, just want to let you guys know, since I did say something big was coming, apparently there wasn't anything there. He just ignored it. Everybody pretended they never said what they said. Nobody's connected or has any of this inside information. And until you hear reasonable, strong evidence of something, don't listen to somebody who's saying that they have inside information. And trust me, bro. Trust me, bro doesn't fly with me, because you're either one of two things. You are a rat. You heard something inside the organization or from somebody that told you something, and you're ratting them out because you can't tell who told you, you can't tell what it is, or you're making it up. Plain and simple. Those are the two options.
And it's easy to do because society is like so starved for drama and salacious details and all that stuff. Whereas, you know, if people would just kind of wait for the right sources, but everyone, well, we know this. It's about being first, not being right. That's
Hag with 5 gifted memberships on Rumble. Thank you, pal.
Nice.
I don't know if those get handed out automatically, Hag, or if you have to manually select who to give those to. But Hag, appreciate that. Yeah, Aldi, it's a great question, and my aggression toward the response had nothing to do with you. It had to, and I know you know that. It had to literally do with me feeling the frustration of that situation and people pretending in this business that they're connected when they're not. It's hogwash, bro. It's garbage. I don't ever come out here and pretend I've got some insider information because I have an inkling something's going to happen. I just come in here and tell you, I think this might happen. I think this might not happen. I'm here to digest news, not here to necessarily break it first. I'm not an idiot or trying to misguide or mislead anybody. I'm here to interpret. I'm an interpreter. When news breaks, I go live and tell you what I think. That's why you're here. You're not here watching the live stream. And some of you do hear it from me first because you're like, I'll just turn off everybody else because Smitty will go live 5 or 10 minutes after something big, or 1 minute after, or maybe just at 8 p.m. he'll tell me about the medium-sized pieces of news. And that's all I need. And I appreciate people that do look to me to break the news to them because they don't necessarily need to have it on the minute. I'm searching for it. When I find it, we report on it. And I tell you my take on it. I digest it. I break it down. I give you my prediction. I give you my what does this mean? That's what I'm here for. And for anybody else that thinks they're breaking it or they pretend to break it, you literally look like a moron. Because nobody on the small little Tampa Bay Buccaneer podcast or the 49er podcast or the especially a lot of what's the worst ones? Steelers have tons of them. They act like they've got inside information and they don't. They don't. They read something at the grassroots level that hasn't maybe blossomed yet. And the beat reporters sometimes will ask a question, and when they ask the question at the press conference, it doesn't spread for 20, 30, 40 minutes sometimes. So if you're staying on top of every single beat writer, then sometimes you can get that early jump on something, but you have to be on top of all that. It's better just to go 1 or 2 levels out to a place like me, and then you're going to hear it in rapid lightning speed anyway. But I don't sit here and pretend. I don't see a beat reporter say that, oh, so-and-so's hurt his ankle. And I come out here and go, I got inside information that the ankle injury is happening, just hoping you didn't see the same beat reporter tweet that I saw. Like, that's what these people are doing half the time. And it's embarrassing. Like, Bucky's going to the moon. Let me circle back. He's going to the moon. And it's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. And I don't, even if I'm wrong and he doesn't deliver quite as much as we expected last year, because I'm rinsing and repeating my expectation. I truly am. What I thought Bucky was doing last year, I expect him to do this year. And because I get him in the 3rd round right now, and that might change in the coming weeks and months, but because I get him in the 3rd round right now, I'm taking candy from a baby all day long. I smell meatloaf.
So looking at ADP right now on Underdog, he's at 30. And so just as kind of a little exercise, if you go, 1 round before, 1 round after, that range of running backs, basically from Henry to Scatterbo. I don't know if you can see it or if you just want me to name off a few players. Just curious if you'd rather have Bucky over them, if you're kind of splitting it, one on one team, one on the other type of thing.
All right, give me the scenarios.
So these guys I list off are just, within 1 round of Bucky, either below him or ahead of him.
All right.
So basically from picks 20 to 40.
All right, give me
Derrick
one.
Henry.
Give me one at a time. We'll just go through it one at a time. Derrick Henry.
Yep.
All right, Derrick Henry or Bucky Irving, 2020, 2026.
And you can even say, like, I'm, in best ball, I'm splitting. If I have two teams, I'm taking one.
Now, the cost of entry is different on these two guys, so it does make it a little tougher.
It's within 10 picks. All these guys are within 10
Right,
picks.
But what I'm trying to say is that because Derrick Henry's a bona fide cemented in second-round pick and Bucky's a bona fide cemented in third-round pick, I'm not going to take Bucky over Henry because I don't need to. So, like, the way I'll answer this is I would rather have this cost of entry in terms of process than drafting Derrick Henry.
Sure.
I'd rather take Bucky in round 3, grab a second running back and then go wide receiver in round 1, or grab my wide receiver in round 2. So at the end of the day, I'm definitely going to take the Bucky value cost of entry, but there's no way I can draft this because of that difference. Like, when it gets closer, I won't need to say that, but right here I kind of have to.
Yep.
All right, next one.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown is definitely somebody.
23.
23. So he is going in round 2, but it's close enough. I definitely feel like I'm gonna go with Chase Brown, but again, the ADP is kind of telling you that this is a second round player. This is a third round player, even though he's still barely in round 2. I'm going Chase Brown. He's much more secure. His offense is fantastic. We didn't see a bad season from him. We got a great season from him. And he's continuing to blossom into the player that we know he is. But that said, if you give me some wild Bucky and something over Chase Brown, I could get behind it.
Right. I think this one's easy. Josh Jacobs at 28.
Who's Josh Jacobs? Is that the guy that used to start for the Green Bay Packers? Let me make this very, very, very easy. Not only would I take Bucky 10 times out of 10 times, and I don't want to diversify my portfolio with this, I don't think Jacobs will even sniff his ADP when push comes to shove. Maybe, and if he does, and I hope I'm wrong, if he does, and that's just my thinking bleeding into the reality of the situation where people bounce back and love Jacobs again. His volume, injury history, the situation, the way that they didn't lean on him. Now, new staff might come in and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and go all in on Jacobs, and I get that. That could definitely solve some problems, but I think he probably doesn't stay healthy. I believe that if he does, I hope I'm wrong, and he climbs up and he muddies up the third round so that guys like Bucky can slip another spot, or guys like Hendy and Harvey could stay even further down. Guys like Fanning can stay around top of round 6 instead of climbing to mid 5, because it's all going to affect it. But it's not even a question in my mind at taking Bucky. And I'm giving up a lot more. Like in a trade, I give up Jacobs and something significant to get Bucky. And in Dynasty, I give a first rounder. But it'd be a 2028. I give a 2028, probably assumed to be late first rounder, to swap Jacobs into Bucky.
All right. These next two are both at 29, and Bucky's at 30. So they're within a pick and a half.
All right, let's do one each. Breece Hall. Okay.
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, I want over, man. They're both Marsmen for a reason. So this one's kind of tough. They're both on the Marsmen.
On a shuttle to Mars. Marsmen
list. So they're both on here for a reason. They're both phenomenal.
Dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
If I had to, this might be one where I split it. I think I'm definitely taking Breece Hall if I'm in one draft, and you might even get lucky and Bucky falls, or you could trade up in your fourth rounder into the bottom of 3 and draft both of them if you have draft pick trading. I definitely, if I've got one, I'm going Breece Hall, but if I've got 2 drafts side by side, same pick, same build, everything's the same on every avenue, and I'm sitting here going, I want to diversify it, I'm going to go Hall in one and Bucky in the other. Hall, slight edge, but very, very even.
All right. Kenneth Walker at 29. Yeah, these ones are tough.
This one's tougher. And I love Kenny Walker. Kenny Walker was the first Moon Man ever on this channel. So very, very much appreciate this guy and love him. I think I would look to maybe split it, but I lean a little bit Bucky. I do. I love Walker, though. Love him, but I'm going to lean slightly in favor of Bucky if I was forced to pick one. But I could see myself splitting this one and wanting diversity. If I had two of the exact same scenarios on the clock in both of them, I'm in the third round. I've got the same build at wide receiver and running back in the first round, same exact teams. And I go, damn, let's not double down on Bucky. Let's split it. Let's go Walker, Bucky. There was some news today. Some people are making waves of it. Navage, thank you for your super chat. I'll get to in 1 second after Travis finishes this. They're making a lot of waves with it, but it's not that big of a deal. GM goes to the mic celebratory parade situation and says, MVP Walker right behind me, and the guy's, toast. He's lit, and he's sitting there, and he's like, Walker, and it's weird. Walker just tried to negotiate a new deal with me right now. It's kind of weird. And he looked at Walker, and Walker's like, and Walker doesn't party. Walker doesn't even want to be at the parade. Walker was interviewed after the parade, and they're like, or during the parade, and they were like, hey, what do you plan on doing after this? He's like, after this, I'm just going to disappear and focus. And they're like, you don't even want to be here.
Like,
no. Yeah, he's all football. He's all football. He's all hard work.
I like in the Super Bowl, they were when they were showing players, they'd show the players were wearing they did some photo shoot or something for the in-betweens, and all the players had stylish clothes and this and that. And Walker just has khakis and a collared shirt, just kind of standing there.
He's all football.
Just all business.
He's all football. And he wants now. So people are saying it was really weird. The GM disrespected him. The GM was lit, and he was like, and this guy tried to negotiate with me, right after the game is weird. And then he looked over at Walker, and everyone's like, and Walker's like, Walker looked a little bit annoyed, but it wasn't. I don't think because he was so offended. I think he just doesn't like the tension. He's very, very focused. He's very shy. He's not the kind of guy that's gonna go ask for $10 million more than he's worth. He's the kind of guy who would take a hometown discount. I fully believe he's gonna stay, and I fully believe that the intentions of the GM was not to offend him necessarily, but to say how important he was, because he was chanting MVP. And then his joke is kind of I don't even want to call it tasteless, because it was funny in a way. It was just the guy's a belligerent person at a mic, so it didn't come off right. But he's literally saying he's so good, he's trying to negotiate with me already because he knows we need him. That's all that was really going on, I think, in my mind. Yeah. But people are making a big stink of it, acting like in the comments everywhere, people are like, he gone. He's not going to take that. It's come on. Walker, first of all, Walker loves his family, his coaching staff, his team, the way that it operates. The bigger concern for Walker, and why I do love Bucky more than Walker next year, is that they've had a running back by committee in Seattle. Now, granted, Charbonnet's coming back from an ACL tear, but you even brought this up the other night. What happens when he's ready? And then on top of that, they're losing Kubiak, and he's going to LV, so they're looking internal with that hire, which is good because they keep the scheme in-house, essentially, but look at how the internal hires sometimes go. A case in point, Detroit. Detroit went internal in a sense, a guy that had gone back and forth to another team, but they went internal, and it ended very badly. Internal doesn't mean that it just, functions exactly the same. So we could look at a potentially a hiccup here for the Seahawks, and it happens all the time. A team wins and then they lose. The Lions were great one year, they lose Ben Johnson, then they're not good. So it's kind of hard to really say where it's going to go, whereas at least with the Bucs, we know it's only going up. I think Zach Robinson is going to utilize Bucky the way that we almost can guarantee production and success with, whereas Walker, we're pretty sure we know what they want to do, but then we think to a second later, do we? Because if Kubiak's not there, we don't know anything. So that's why I heavily lean Bucky. I don't want to say I started to say heavily lean Bucky in a one opportunity
One off, yeah.
I've got to take one of them. I don't have two shots side by side. I'm leaning heavily Bucky. If I've got two shots at it, I might still split it because I think there's so much upside here. That's the way I take it. All right, one more, Travis, then I'll read Navage, and then we'll get over to Dynasty.
Do you want to just do Navage quick? I had three quick ones. I think you can do them pretty quick.
Okay, let me hit Navage. Navage, appreciate your super chat, my man. Achane for JJ in Dynasty. That is low, and I'd rather have JJ. And I love Achane, bro. I love Achane, but he's a running back. Running backs have a short shelf life. Not to mention Achane's already had pretty decent mileage already. And you take away Tua, who is horrible for football, but he's amazing for fantasy. For Achane, just literally just feeds Achane over and over. And you take away Miami Mike and put him into LAC. There's nothing here that we can sit here and grab onto and say it will be the same. I'm not saying it won't be, but we don't have anything telling us it will be the same. Don't worry, young man. Everything will be okay. We don't have that. I'm not saying it won't be okay, but we have nothing telling us it will be. And JJ, you could say the same thing, but the one solace I have there is it can only get better. It's still a good scheme and system, although another year, who knows who's there. But JJ, to me, has more seasons left than Achane to weather through a bumpy road. If Achane has a bumpy first year with that, and this happens a lot, first year without the right system and quarterback, how many years does he have left after this year? So JJ, even though I think it will get fixed for JJ this year, Mac Jones, whoever they trade for, I think they're 100% going to solve this. At least they're going to solve it in a way that feeds JJ, even if it's not a football kind of solving. It's more of a fantasy football solving. I'm taking JJ all day. And I hate to say that because I love Achane. And had Miami Mike stayed, even with maybe a quarterback change, I think I could get behind Achane and JJ being a split where I take one in one league and one in the other, just like these examples. But right now, man, I'd rather have JJ in Dynasty. And I hate saying that. I love Achane. I love him, bro. And I still like him. I still love him. I still take him. Just I'm taking him a little bit lower. Just a little bit later. Dynasty's different. JJ's a top 3 wide receiver in this league. Thank you, Navage. All right, Travis, real quickly, and then we'll head over to the Dynasty channel. And guys, the Dynasty link is right here. Let me paste that real quickly into the live chats. Let's see here. Let me paste it into the Rumble chat first. Guys on Rumble, make sure. First of all, let me paste the Rumble chat in on YouTube. Guys, subscribe to the Rumble channel because when we get to 10K, it's going to be off the hook on Rumble. It's going to be unreal. I'm gonna focus so hard on Rumble. I'm not saying I'm taking anything away from YouTube. You guys know me. I'll bust my tail on this stuff. I am not no pause needed either. I'm literally going to do what I can to make Rumble a rival channel to the main YouTube channel without touching or hurting the YouTube content. Okay, so trust me. We've taken the YouTube channel this far together. Trust me. I'm not going to diminish anything. We're not going to take anything away. I'm not stealing time. This is additional commitment. But when we get to 10K on Rumble, Rumble is going to go insane. And you're going to want to be a part of it. I just dropped the Rumble link into the YouTube chat. Now, the Dynasty channel, we're going to go over to the Dynasty channel in just a minute. I'm going to drop that in the Rumble chat right there. Boom. Hit it. Do it live. And then on the YouTube channel, I'm going to drop the Dynasty link in there. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to that. You're ready to go. We're going to jump on the Dynasty channel in a minute and talk Bucky. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, 3 quick ones. Kyron at 34 ADP.
This is redraft.
Yeah.
I'm taking Bucky.
I'm just using the underdog ADP right now.
I'm taking Bucky all day.
Yep. ETN at 36.8. So 36, 37. That's a tough one.
I'm leaning Bucky in a one-off situation where I don't have 2 or 3 leagues. I lean Bucky even if I only have 2. And if I have 3 situations side by side, then I would give ETN one of those. Now, if ETN goes somewhere amazing, and I think he's in an amazing spot as it is. So if he stays, that's an amazing spot. So I count that. If he stays and we have confirmation that he's in Jacksonville, I think it locks that thinking in maybe even a little more to where I'm tempted to say I split it, but I lean Bucky if I've got one team. If I got one shot, one example, I go Bucky. If I've got side by side 2 separate leagues, do I divide it up? I'd lean toward maybe doing that if he's, let's say, in Chicago starting, Jacksonville starting, KC starting, New Orleans starting. But if he goes somewhere that's lesser than Jacksonville, then I could say 0% chance I'm taking him over Bucky in any scenario. So really going to depend on that. But if we're projecting right now, I do think he's either in one of those amazing spots or he's in Jacksonville. My guess is Walker and ETN both stay with their current teams. Yeah. So I'm going to say 2 out of 3 leagues, Bucky, 1 of them ETN.
And last one, Scatabo at 42-43 ADP.
Let me answer this in Dynasty and in Redraft. I would say in Redraft, it's not even a hesitation. The answer is 100% Bucky in Redraft. In Dynasty, I think that it's going to be the same answer I have for ETN. In 2 leagues, I'm probably going Bucky. In 3, yeah. In 3 leagues, I'm going Bucky, Scatabo.
Bucky's so young.
Yeah, a couple reasons why. The first one would be I do not believe in Matt Nagy. I do not believe in Matt Nagy at all. And I think that that's going to stunt some things over in New York. How much? I don't know. Do I avoid Scatabo? No. Do I avoid Neighbors? Hell no. I'm not avoiding Neighbors. Do I believe Jackson Dart will be at his best as he could be? No. I think that Nagy's going to stunt the growth of everything. I feel like it could be very much like Jacksonville, where there's just like a reset every year until they get the right combination. Now, I think that there's a chance they move on from Nagy after 1 year, and then they could reset and everything will be fine in 1 calendar year. So from a dynasty perspective, that's why I'm still very hopeful. But even with Nagy there, it's going to be hard to keep Scatabo off the field. It's just a matter of if the offense and the whole team is not functioning to its highest capacity. Think of Harbaugh in LAC. There's still a lot of talent there, but they weren't all functioning. There was injuries too, but they weren't functioning at a highest level. So you weren't getting the output regardless of how much talent they had. Scatabo worries me in that regard. He's also very injury prone. So in Dynasty, I am still leaning Bucky more than Scatabo because of the way he plays, his style of play. The guy's recovering from a massive ankle foot situation, fracture or tibia or whatever. Fibia, what was his fracture? It was, let's hold on. Let me
okay. Was it his ankle or his leg?
It was his, let me just make sure
I think it was his ankle, right? Oh yeah, fractured fibula.
Yeah, but he fractured. It was his dislocated ankle, but it happened from his fractured fibula. So the fibula was fractured, and it is a devastating injury. And he's in this, he's immobilized boot, and he's at the WWE in an orchestrated fight. Now, granted, it's all fictional. It's fake, but he's still pushing off, shoving, and like the guy doesn't. Like he doesn't care, and we love that about him. He's headbutting his chair, during his live streams, and you love him. You love him. It's what makes him so fun. Him and Jackson Dart, they're almost like aliens, and then like they're headbutting each other, and it's like E.T. The way that they communicate, but. And it's fun and it's amazing and everybody loves it, but it's going to lead to injury because he can't control himself. It's the most aggressive player to his body, even beyond Puka Nacua. And Jackson Dart's no different, and they feed into each other. Like, who can be more reckless? Me, bro. No, you, bro. No, me. No, me, you. These guys are going to go out there and injure each other. So, from a redraft perspective, it was an easy Bucky because he's coming back from injury. And there's the Nagy situation. And it's an easy dynasty call as well because of his injury history. You could say Bucky can't stay healthy. We'll see. And then, they're both super young. But I just think, again, I'm going to give two of the votes in Dynasty to Bucky. And then if I had a third league, same exact scenario, I probably would give that one to Scatterboo because I just want to share in case it all just goes perfectly to plan. But Bucky gets the advantage.
I didn't realize Scatterboo actually did tear a ligament in his ankle, too. Or ruptured a ligament.
Yeah, that's what I told everybody. Ligament. That's what I told everybody. There's no way that injury happens. You don't stretch and tear things. But it was the best outcome possible, which is what was required. And I said this the moment he did it. I was like, his career is done unless it goes perfect. And it went perfect. So he got extremely lucky. All right, last one.
No, that's it.
All right.
That's it.
We'll be over on the Dynasty channel. Call back in just a few minutes, Travis.
Yep. Bye.
All right. We're out of here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Bucky to the mother freaking moon. This is one of the best values in fantasy, period. 3rd round Bucky Irving. Every expectation I had for Bucky last year, rinse and repeat it for this year, but at a 3rd round, sometimes top of round 4 cost of entry. The risk has been minimized. The upside's exactly the same. Zach Robinson's telling you that he's going to be his Bijan Robinson. This is the offensive coordinator from Atlanta who just produced Bijan Robinson's 2025 season, comes over to OC over in Tampa and fix things in Tampa. The sky's the limit for Bucky. The cost of entry is amazing, and we're scooping them up at every turn. I'll see you on the Dynasty channel in about 5 minutes. We'll be talking more Bucky. I know we just talked about it, but we'll be talking more Bucky. See you all on the Dynasty channel. Appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks, and live at midnight Eastern almost every single night, like this very show right here. Thank you, Navage, for the super chat. Thank you. We had gifted memberships from, let's see here. We had gifted memberships from, wasn't it Hag over on Rumble? Let's go see real quickly just to make sure. Yeah, Hag, thanks for the gifted memberships, bro. Dynasty link is right here, ladies and gentlemen. And my Rumblers, hit that Dynasty link. Do it live. Boom, there it is. See you guys on Dynasty.